The all-inclusive church in Italy, pioneers of hope in Brazil, and mission in the challenging area of Germany. All this and much more from the front lines of mission coming up next. Hello and welcome to Mission 360. I'm Gary Krause. Today's program is coming to you from Leipzig in Germany. And on today's program, as we always do, we're going to travel to various parts of the world to see frontline mission in action. We're going to look at mission right here in Germany. We're going to travel to places such as Italy. But first up, pioneers of hope in Brazil.
On February 22, 1895, pioneer missionary Frank H. Westphal arrived in Brazil. He found the Adventist message had already arrived some 15 years earlier as ink on paper in a seaside port in the state of Santa Catarina. Frank and Mary Westphal began their work in Wisconsin, USA, where Frank worked to reach the German-speaking population. He attended Battle Creek College and taught at Union College before answering God's call to serve as a missionary. In 1894, the General Conference decided to send him to South America as the first ordained minister. In August 1894, Frank, Mary, their son, and baby daughter arrived in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Frank was appointed president of the South America East Coast Mission, which covered the territories of Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Brazil. Frank wasted no time and immediately traveled to Crespo, Argentina, where a group of Adventist believers were waiting. There, he helped establish the first Adventist church in South America. Soon, Frank turned his attention to Brazil. On July 18, 1894, Frank began visiting various places in the state of São Paulo, meeting with interested families and starting branch Sabbath schools. One of those stops was in Piracicaba, where he baptized Guilherme Stein Jr., the first Brazilian believer to be baptized in the country. From there, Frank traveled to Gaspar Alto to meet with another group of interested believers. When he arrived, he tried to find a place to hold meetings, but was met with opposition from the local religious leader. Finally, he decided to hold meetings by the river. On Sabbath, June 8th, after celebrating the Lord's Supper, 8 people were baptized. A few days later, 15 more people were baptized. On June 15th, the first Brazilian Adventist church was established in Gaspar Alto, less than 40 miles from where the Adventist message had first arrived 15 years earlier. After laboring in the mission field for 5 months, Frank returned to Buenos Aires to tragedy. His daughter Helen had taken ill and died on June 15th. 2 weeks before his return, and on the same day he had helped establish the church in Gaspar Alto. Despite tragedy and hardships, the Westphals continued on and gave a total of 27 years of service in South America. Today, there are more than 1.7 million Seventh-day Adventists in Brazil, and more than 18,000 churches and companies. There is one Adventist for every 122 people. To pioneer missionaries like Frank and Mary Westphal, we say, obrigado.
My guest today is Pastor Andreas, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm fascinated by the School of Life program. Give me some background to this and why you started it.
Well, East Germans are the world champions of atheism.
That's something to be proud of, isn't it?
No. It goes a long time, long way. You know, atheism is deeply rooted in society. And there's a huge gap between Christians of any sort and normal people. Yes,
and so this atheism is kind of like inbred. It's part of the DNA of East Germans.
Surely. It's not. They don't fight church. They just don't mind.
They just ignore it.
Yeah.
So you, as a pastor, of course, you look at this challenge. How do you respond?
Well, I suffer first of all.
Yes.
It makes me sad.
Yes.
Because I love my church. I enjoy being a Seventh-day Adventist. I'm enjoying being a Christian. It makes me happy, and I feel God, I feel Jesus very close to me. But people don't. They don't mind. So what can I do? But there are other things that are also part of my life. This is how I develop as a person, how I solve my problems. And I found out if I speak to people about these things, suddenly we connect. We feel a kind of oneness. It's kind of a human oneness. And that's what School of Life, School of Living is all about.
Okay, so how did you start it? What did you do?
Well, we had actually a net evangelization. We call it evangelization. It's kind of a campaign with Dwight Nelson.
Yes.
In 1998 by satellite, and I talked with my church members about what can we do after this is over. And I said, you know, I have a suggestion, let's start a School of Life. And I simply started.
Okay.
Dwight Nelson was all over, and then I started a School of Life.
And describe for us what the School of Life is.
Well, people come and you give a lecture on issues like relationships or depression or wisdom or how to cope with in a family, about how solve problems when you come from a dysfunctional past, something like that. And after this, you can sit together with people and simply listen, and they talk with each other about these things.
So it's you with a group of people from the community talking about life issues.
Yes, that's exactly. Yes.
And people aren't threatened because you're not preaching at them.
No, you don't start with prayer, you don't end with prayer. They know you are Christian, they know you are Seventh-day Adventist pastor, but during this time, you simply try to be on their level. You come down to their level, like Jesus did. You know, God became human, and he wanted to feel how it is be like us. You know, walk with feet and get dirty and something like that. And you do the same thing. You go on the level of the people.
That's wonderful. Now, you started a group at your church.
Yes.
Now, how has it grown?
Well, I started to convince other people that this is a good thing to do.
Okay.
But first they didn't believe me. They said, you are a psychologist, you're a trained psychologist at Andrews. I did my PhD in counseling psych, and you can do that, but not we. But I said, no, you all can do that also. And it took quite a number of years, and then I sat down with two pastors. And we went through a series of presentations, and we worked on them together. And then I said, now you start. And they began, and one guy, you know, he did a presentation, started giving a presentation on depression, and he had much more attendance than I had when I started years ago.
Wow. So how many groups are there now?
Well, before the pandemic, we had between 50 or 60 groups in entire Germany.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Tell me an experience of someone whose life was touched through this.
Well, there was one person, I didn't know about her a lot, but she came to our community, so to speak, and then I asked her. Then I had a list, and people could write their names down if they wanted to have some introduction on spirituality, and she wrote her name down. And a couple of years went by, and then I ask her, you know, how about you? You said, you know, you wanted to come, and what happened? And she said, yes, I will come this time. And she came, and she made friends with a couple from the church. They also came to this place, and she became a Seventh-day Adventist. Yes.
So the connection had been made. So she initially came to one of the groups discussing one topic,
That's right.
and then she was prepared to go to the spirituality class.
That's exactly how it happened.
Okay.
And then she got to know, she made friends in the church. And then she said, I want to become a Seventh-day Adventist, and she got baptized. Yes.
So it seems to me what you're talking about here is something that you are connecting with the community in a way they would never connect if you said, come to our church.
Yes, because the gap is so huge, so
Right.
wide. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of the time we are assuming people know the Bible.
Yes.
These people never opened it in their lives.
Basically, you have to some sort of become an atheist for atheists. So you need to shrink yourself on the level an atheist lives, and try to become one of them like Christ did.
And the
Yes.
Apostle Paul said, I become all things to all people so that I can win one. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing
You're
with us
welcome.
today. And friends, this is an exciting thing. And this is, when you're dealing with people who don't have the same worldview, who don't have the same assumptions about the Bible, do not believe in God, it is difficult. It is challenging. It is a mission field. So please pray for these groups, that they will encounter through this Christians who love God, and that they will come to know that following Jesus is the best way to be. Welcome back to Leipzig, and behind me you can see the Thomas Church, and in front of it is a statue to Johann Sebastian Bach, a remarkable virtuoso musician and composer, perhaps the greatest the world has ever seen. He was also a deeply religious man and also a humble man, and at the bottom of every music manuscript that he wrote, every religious work, at the bottom he had the initials SDG, Solo Deo Gloria, which was to the glory of God alone.
Hello, welcome to India here. I'm with a special guest, Pastor Bishojit.
Welcome.
I know him as Bapi. We've met many years ago, maybe almost 8 years ago, and now we meet again.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Brother Kalam.
Thank you. Can you introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do here?
Okay, well, my name is Bishojit Bhaumik. I'm a circle leader working for Hope for Kolkata project, and here I am also taking care of this UCI, Urban Center of Influence. It's a healthcare facilities we provide, and we provide community service from this center.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned it, right behind us is your Urban Center of Influence.
Yes.
Why is it here, and what do you do at this center?
Okay, well, we have a doctor, we have a health team, we have doctor, we have nurse, we have the male therapist, and we have female therapist, and we are here, we serve the community. If they require any needs, their need, we are here to help them. Especially, we provide the health care also. When people get sick, and they come here, and through this natural therapy, the hydro treatment, we have the therapist. We touch many lives in this community.
That's excellent. So what are some of the most common things that you help with here? When people come to your center, what are the reasons that they're coming?
Okay, well, when they are sick, they come to the center. And not only that, the health issue, we conduct the healthy cooking class that is completely free. And through this healthy cooking class, we also attract many people, and many of them are coming and learning how to cook oil-free cooking.
I see.
So, yeah, healthy cooking class we do. We conduct Christmas time. We have conducted programs. Around 32 people have come and we projected Jesus film. And after the program, I see people literally they cried. It's touched their lives, and we appealed them. Would you like to come here if we conduct this type of meeting? They said yes, and they keep on coming. They still come.
Wonderful.
And that is one. Then we also interested on children, so we tell children the story, and many children they come and tell, uncle, why don't you conduct drawing class for us? I said, okay, one of the Sunday we'll have once in a month.
So you're an artist.
Yeah, I noticed the children they come and they request. And many other issues like elderly people, they come and tell their problems, and we go and try to help them. Whatever the needs they need from us, we can help them. Like that, we are reaching to these people.
Yes. So it sounds like you're in the business of healthcare, but also in the business of making relationships.
Welfare, yes.
Yes. So you also aim to have relationships and care for people's emotional needs as well.
Yes, emotional needs. Yeah, we are friendly with all these people. They are very good friend of us. Beside this building, there is one auntie. She is upper class, and they become friendly to us. Now she started coming to our center.
Very nice.
So that's the beauty, and she involves other also. And all this locality there, that side also, we are friendly with them.
So with that, you're building community, right?
Yeah, we are building the community.
So Pastor, can you tell me maybe a story of how this center has been impacting people's lives?
Okay. Right after inauguration, this UCI, so we have a neighbor, the auntie who lives beside our residence. So I noticed very late night also, around 11:30, 12 o'clock, her light is on. So as we talk, we became very friendly with her, and she told, by tension, I cannot sleep. All over the night, I am awake till 1 o'clock also sometime. So sad. Then I told, auntie, why don't you come to our center? Why don't you see our doctor? So she came down, and she doesn't have any medical problem, and she thinking so much because her husband died due to this COVID-19, which is very sad. We sad to hear that. And as she talked with the doctor, and literally I could see she feels a little bit relaxed, and doctor gave nice counseling to her, and we also go and visit her, and she is no more feeling lonely. She is happy. Our visit impact her life.
Very nice. So you still have a relationship with her?
Yes, still we have relationship, and we are good neighbor, and we have good relationship with her.
Yes.
And she comes to center now and then.
Very nice.
And her anxiety level also comes down. Medication also reduced.
Good. So you're treating her emotional needs as well. It sounds very much like you're following what Jesus did, not just attending physical needs, but mingling with people, caring for them, showing them that they have someone that cares for them and knows that they are special and that they matter to other people.
Yes.
That's very excellent. Thank you so much, Pastor, for telling us a little bit about your center here.
Okay.
We hope that you have more success and get to know even more of the community. And we appreciate the model that you're laying here.
Thank you. You are most welcome. Thank you so much, Clark.
Thank you. And viewers at home, we hope that you can be motivated by stories like this, seeing how much just checking up on someone, how much that made a difference for that lady. And now they know that there are people that care for her just like Jesus does. Thank you, and hope you enjoy the next mission stories.
Behind me is the Nicholas Church, and it played a vital role back in the 1980s for the fall of communism here in the GDR. In the early 1980s, the pastor of this church started holding weekly prayer meetings. The numbers started to grow, and they started holding candlelight vigils for peace. In 1989, on October 9, hundreds of people gathered here, and then they came out onto the streets, and some 70 to 100,000 people joined them in a peaceful protest. It laid the groundwork, it started the machinations for the fall of communism in this area. Well, next up we're going to travel to Italy to learn about the all-inclusive church.
When Stefania was younger, her family owned a house by the sea in Sicily, Italy. She noticed that every morning a neighboring family with 5 children met outside to read the Bible and pray together. One morning, they invited her over to join them.
One
of the brothers, Andrea, was particularly wise and also made me laugh. He was kind and totally different from other guys our age, so we started to date. And eventually, he became my husband.
As they dated, Andrea taught Stefania about Adventist principles. She started attending the Adventist church and felt welcomed. After studying and praying, she was baptized. In 2016, Stefania's congregation in Ragusa, Italy, appealed to Adventist members around the world to help them build a new church. Another church member, Marco, remembers how difficult it was to worship in their old space. They occupied the bottom level of a large building. The neighbor upstairs was constantly complaining that they were disturbing him.
He would often hit his floor with a stick to let us know he wasn't happy. But one time, he came downstairs and shattered the front glass door with the stick.
Thanks to your 13th Sabbath offering contribution, this congregation was able to build a stunning new church.
It's absolutely beautiful to be here, in a place where we can be free to worship God without the anxiety and fear that we will upset others. Sometimes I come into the church before everyone else because I'm responsible for music and worship. I come to test microphones and prepare. Sometimes I just stop and gaze at this beautiful space, and tears come to my eyes.
The Ragusa congregation hasn't wasted any time putting this space to use. They conduct a variety of activities and programs focused on serving others.
One way the Adventist church has impacted my life is by giving me the possibility to give back. To give back part of the blessing that God has given me. Not just in terms of money, but also in terms of time and service dedicated to people.
An often underserved population is the immigrant and refugee community. Adventists in Ragusa use their new space to conduct Italian language courses that help new residents qualify for jobs. The church's support helps these individuals make friends in a social environment and gives them confidence to navigate their new home.
At the end of the course, we have a party for everyone who passes the final test. We have the party here at the church. A lot of people have the opportunity to know the church, its members, and its message.
Adventists in Ragusa want the love of Jesus to be felt by everyone. So they host events where the physically disabled can feel comfortable and have fun.
My dream is that this church may become a totally inclusive church. That everyone who comes here knows that Christ died for them.
Thank you for providing a safe place for church members in Ragusa to serve their community more. Your contribution to this 13th Sabbath Offering project in 2016 has impacted countless lives.
There is nothing in this world that can truly satisfy me like Jesus' love. For His love is truly deeper, truly purer, truly sweeter than truly satisfy me like Jesus, Jesus love. Only Jesus, Jesus love.
Well, that's about it for today's program. And I want to thank you for joining us. And I hope that you've been inspired and challenged by what you've seen and heard as we've seen frontline mission around the world. Please continue to pray for the mission field of Europe. What an amazing challenge we face here, as many people are now living their lives without reference to God. Many people who are rich and increased with goods and feel as if they have need of nothing. Thank you for your continuing prayers for mission. Thank you for your continuing support of Global Mission with your donations. And thank you also for your personal involvement. And remember that you can always tune in for more stories at m360.tv. Well, for Adventist Mission, I'm Gary Krause, and I hope that you can join me next time right here on Mission 360.